So we are live on the internet now.
Ooh, this is it, internet.
But if you see this little thing here, that's when people might start joining and all that stuff. So let me find it. Come on. All right, let's show
Shell
this
hazelnut NVIDIA, which is this one, is the coconut. Oh no, vanilla. I'm sorry, vanilla. And Luxuria is the coconut. That's you. Okay.
Treasure Coast. Hey Sarah, what's up, girl? You know this Florida Let's Talk Craft Beer? I've never heard of that group.
I've never heard of that. They sound
Florida Craft Beer Bonanza. I don't know where all these.
I'm the last guy to ask because I'm hardly active on social media, as everybody can tell.
Let's see.
Sarah, if you're tuning in, I brought some gems here from Three Sons. Put that up there. Oh, no, that's not right. There we go. That's in Luxuria, one of the three deadly sins, special single adjuncted bourbon barrel aged stouts from Three Sons down over in Dania Beach. That one is Gullah, which I believe is hazelnuts. Yeah, NVIDIA was coconuts. And I'm sorry, that was Luxuria. That's coconut. And NVIDIA here, this one is vanilla. Oh, it's tough to close. Yeah, that's rough.
It's tough. It's tough.
Don't worry, I'll show it later.
If you guys can't tell, we're not actually at a brew pub. Like I have just a white table behind me or a white wall. But anyway, yeah, we're just trying it. It looks too plain.
But I gave someone my card to start a tab.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I could go no background. And that's just boring. So I thought this would, even though it's weird, I don't know. We're gonna give it a shot.
I think next time we might have the kids put some of their school art there.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
And it'll actually spice it up, and that can be one topic.
Craig, so happy to see you there. Hope you're doing well too, man. Thanks for chiming in. Do you want to get into this? Let's crack a beer and start doing it. All right, here we go.
Crack a beer. Join John and Mr. Steve as they explore the people, places, and brews of the craft beer world. You are now entering the Might Be Brews podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Might Be Brews. My name is John, and with me for the very first time is actually my Florida buddy, Joff. Joff, how you doing tonight?
I'm all good. Dude, we're back.
Dude, I almost called you Jeff, and I've never called you anything but Joff.
That's correct.
Regardless of what Francois and Tara say.
That is correct.
But I may have called you other names.
Point of contention. We'll get into that later.
For some reason, as I'm going into to this introduction, for some reason, it just my brain wanted to go Jeff. That's so strange. But anyway,
the oddest thing I'll tell folks here, it's like I'm mindful that my name is Joff, Joff. So when it came time to apply for my license at 17, whatever.
Yeah, like your driver's license?
Yeah. So on the official application, anything government, anything important, I really accentuate the O. All right. So I know my name and it's there.
Yeah.
Sure enough, get my license and it says Jeff. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, miss, but you misspelled my name. My name is Joff.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And she has the audacity to like reach back, grab the application, look at it, and then look at me and says, well, on your application, it says Jeff.
But it doesn't.
And I'm 17. I'm like, oh, of course it does, because I'm 17 years old, and I don't know how to spell my own name. I know it says Joff. Just change it.
Yeah.
So, it gave me a face because she's DMV, but yeah.
Crazy. Well, look, you just cracked open a beer, and first off,
literally cracked.
Literally cracked. I always say that, and I don't know if this filter is going to work, but I'm using this background filter. If you guys can't tell, What's up, Sean? Mr. Steve looks really different without the beard.
I can grow it out.
We just tried to use this bottle opener on this beer, and the freaking thing cracked open. It looks like we tried to saber it or something.
Yeah, I used the scabbard. Next time for everybody, we'll do it outside, and then I'll use the scabbard, and then it'll be proper. But it looks like it now.
All right, so you brought some special beers here. Why don't you tell me what we're getting into right now?
So there are 3. It's a little tough to see, but there are 3.
Should I bag this filter? Should I get rid of it?
Maybe for right now. Let's do that.
I'm gonna just have a really boring.
You're going to see us background. in all our glory here.
If I get my lighting right, then I'm just gonna have
so you guys can see how I
background.
absolutely bollocksed up.
Yeah,
That glass. Or let me put it in the. There you
Camera.
go, in the white.
jack that thing up.
Rookie move. But this is Luxuria from Three Sons Brewing. This is basically just south of Fort Lauderdale Airport. A lot of folks will use that as their cell phone lot because it's so close to the airport, and it's a delicious brewery with delicious food. Like I have nothing but good things to say about Three Sons.
I don't think I've ever been. I'm trying to remember. I have such a bad memory. But remember when I was messaging you, I had some buddies here, and we went down to the airport, and they had a delay, and I think we were just doing stuff around West Palm. So
it's further. Yeah, that's further south. I think you might have gone to Civil Society.
Well, no, I didn't do civil. I did stuff that was in West Palm. That was and I think I hit you up for a couple of them. It's not Noda, but
Nobo.
Nobo.
Okay.
Where is that? Is that West Palm?
Well, Nobo literally stands for North Boynton Beach, but that isn't far.
Okay.
From West
I think
Palm.
we went there. We hit up a couple places like that.
I'll take the glass here.
Yeah.
I'll take the chunks of.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's no glass in there.
Whatever.
We're gonna find out pretty quick.
We drink enough plastics, so why not some glass to go with it too?
Dude, I got to be honest. I don't know if it's coming across on the podcast to people, but this house echoes. I'm picking up an echo. I don't know if anybody else can, but it definitely has a little bit of reverb to it compared to what I'm used to. But I don't know. We're just gonna have to roll with it.
Oh yeah, I'll bring this up so that everyone can kind of see it. Huh? That is Luxuria. Let me see.
Now, is that the name? What is the name?
So that's the name because there's Gula, Invidia, and Luxuria.
Okay.
They're all part of the 7 deadly sins, but Three Sons being 3 chose 3 deadly sins. This one is a collab with Phase 3, which is another delicious brewery in Illinois. And so this one is Imperial Stout, aged 19 months, in a 6-year-old Old Fitz bourbon barrel, treated with 2 pounds of coconut per gallon. And cheers, lad.
Cheers,
you know, one thing that Three Sons, cheers, does right is coconut. You can see the floaties. Oh, the smell is bourbon-tastic.
Yeah, lots of bourbon.
Sorry if you guys can, the inhale and the exhale there.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's even better than when I have it.
Yeah, because I think I get a lot of heat coming off of the bourbon, but in a good way. But there's also, it's smooth, and then there's a very sticky sweetness that I want to say it's not artificial, but it's just very sticky, like a syrupy something going on at the end.
I get a lot of toffee. I mean, it's not for me syrupy. Like I equate syrup to kind of just maple, or like pancake kind of syrup. But, I get not like those candied mushrooms. I forgot what is it that Tripping Animals puts in that is like a candy mushroom thing. This was almost like toffee.
Yeah,
but you'll get that also from toasted coconut. And
that makes sense because maybe it is kind of like a caramelized, sugary coconut thing going on there at the end. But it's so funny that I always laugh at myself because I'm so bad at describing beer with an educated vocabulary. So I'm it tastes sticky. That's what I come up with. I never really have a.
Why is the floor sticky?
Yeah. I never. Yeah. For some reason, this beer tastes sticky. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. It is what it is. So, Joff, I want to try to introduce you to people. We've obviously hung out and shared a ton of stuff in the past, but tell us, this is one of the things I always ask a brand new guest is what was your first craft beer experience, or one that maybe comes to mind that changed your mind about how you think about beer or your relationship with beer?
Admittedly, through college, I actually didn't drink beer. I mean, like what we were stuck with, the basic lagers, and then I
Sure.
mean, like when you play, what is it, Pong, and then
Yeah.
I mean, like it's just garbage. So I actually just would revert to liquor. But once you graduate college and actually start to make some money, I thought, oh, let's get into wine. So I was a little partial to like Bordeaux's and Burgundy's, pretty fancy old world wines, and that was kind of just it. But by no means was I like actually did not enjoy beer.
Right.
Even when Guinness came around, and it was like, oh, this is something a little different.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't until years later. I still remember my friend Dan. He was big in the craft beer, and we were at some pub, very basic. And he said, Joff, what you're eating now, here's a beer that will taste like vinegar. It will taste like apple cider vinegar, and it'll be sour, it'll be tart, a little bit of enamel stripping, but no joke, it'll pair perfectly with what you're eating. And he was right. It did taste like apple cider vinegar. I believe it was called Grand Cru, and yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this is dark like my soul, bourbon barrel aged, high ABV. This is absolutely my style. But the very first one was Grand Cru, and I was like, what? This is beer. I mean, like, again, it's pretty close to wine.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it was different, and I knew, all right, I gotta check what's going on here. I do remember the first like stout I enjoyed was Founder's Breakfast Stout, where it's not as high ABV as this, and a lot more mellow, but to drink it and have this milk chocolatey smoothness, this is before I've had my very first BCBS.
Sure.
That here's something, and just like a tear went down my eye. How good something could be. Of course, now, with the way everything's changed, but man, it was something. And those are the first two beers that I kind of just remember.
Yeah. Gotcha. And where was that?
Oh, both of those were up in DC. I'm from DC, Northern Virginia, and the craft brew pubs up there, fantastic. I mean, it's a city, it's a big city. I always complain to John here how bored I am in PSL that there is nothing here, especially compared to like a larger city. It's from up north where you got the tri-state and everything up there, and in the city like DC, we have Aslan. Even the brewery in California ended up over there. I had a Droid Theory way off to the edge, but we had just such great stuff, and also more importantly, the craft brew pubs like Highside in Fairfax, or even I forgot, like Meridian Pint in downtown DC, always had hired people and was great curators of their stock, and I always appreciate that. I miss it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because I felt the same way moving here to Florida, that we were so lucky. I had no idea how good we had it, that all of the breweries, I guess I took it for granted, right? The breweries are so fantastic. Everybody's putting out great quality beer.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come here, and like there's a handful of local breweries. It just felt like they weren't nearly, the quality that we're used to from somewhere else.
No, that's why we kind of have to go to Fort Lauderdale or Miami to go down to Three Sons and score some of their gems. Of course, Jay Wakefield way down in Wynwood, Miami, and then pretty soon I'll head out to Tampa there's a craft beer fest, an indoors AC'd up craft brew fest at the Tampa Bay Coliseum.
What's that
I
called?
think in St. Peter. So in Tampa, the big beer week is called Tampa Bay Beer Week, but that's 6 months from now. So 6 months between, they have the halfway there festival. So it's halfway from the last one and halfway to the next one. So that's what this is. It's not going to be as large,
Sure.
nor will the ancillary events kind of around. Like if you've been to Great American Beer Fest, props to you guys. That's the Mecca. But even if you just go to Colorado and Denver during Great American Beer Fest week and have no tickets,
Yeah.
but then just go to the brewery,
I'm sure it's just such a good time.
yeah, it's all these gems. Yeah, so
I see Dana in the chat there. Dana, hope you're doing well. She has been to Great American Beer Fest. Did I say that right?
That's
But
right.
if anybody has, I would think it'd probably be Dana. Dana, have you ever been to the Tampa beer festivals at all, or any Florida beer festivals? I'd be curious because I would imagine maybe you've done like a Hunapoo before or something like that. Sean wants to check in here. Say, Joff's got a narrator voice. I need him to review a beer like a movie trailer.
Touche. I appreciate that.
We can work on that. Maybe we'll do some like TikTok content or something like that where he can just do.
I'll tell Sean a funny stories real quick
voice.
because I've had this voice since you just hit puberty, and I knew from an early point I wanted to work in the hospital in some way, be a doctor, specialist, you name it. So when I was a very young kid, I applied just for a candy striper volunteer position at the hospital, and they said, "Oh, sorry, we're full up." I was like, "How can you be full up? It's volunteers. You're not paying me."
Right? Yeah.
And they said, "Relax, kid. We got a job just for use." And I was like, "What?" Yeah, they said, "Yeah, we're going to transfer you to the department. Just hold on." So little pause. The phone picks up. "Yeah, morgue." I'm like, "Morgue?" And I'm like, "My name's Joff. I was talking to HR. They said you have a job for me." It's like, "Oh yeah, you're perfect. So here's what you want." They wanted me to inform the next of kin that their loved one passed away.
Okay.
And they was like, you've got the
That was like an internship, like your first.
No,
like,
that's what they wanted me
Yeah,
to
okay.
do, and with my soft, soothing voice
Oh, that's
to do
hilarious.
that. And I'm like, "Yo, I'm like a teenager,
Yeah.
and you don't have like a pro who does this?" And like, "Yeah, we do. He's just going on sabbatical. He can get you up to speed. He's a grief counselor." But
That's
plus
heavy.
that plus your voice, you're it's we need you. And I'm like, I gotta think about this. I ended up being a lifeguard instead. But yeah, I mean,
big difference.
The voice has been there. Girlfriends love it because they'll call me or we'll be in bed and then they just fall asleep because they just love like listening to me drone on. But I appreciate the props for going.
Oh, that's
voice,
hilarious. So Dana chimed in here. Church key.
Yes,
I
church
don't know
key.
what that means.
Yes, she knows. Church
She's
Key is an incredible craft brew pub in downtown DC. It's 2 stories. It's a kind of no, it's not DuPont. It's on 23rd, but yeah, it's in Northwest, and they have a lot of Ellipsis brewing. Like almost every bottle that Ellipsis has put out is available at Church Key for whatever reason. So they have the stuff on draft.
It's like a crazy bottle list of like all those Ellipsis bottles.
And exactly a crazy bottle list that
those are those stouts that have all the crazy variants, right?
Yes, I mean, like it isn't so much a variant of adjuncts as it is a variant of the barrels that they're aged in. And I mean, like, good luck if you can go through, even a fraction of them. I qualify it a bit with like Abyss from the Abyss series from what's the one in Portlandia? Deschutes.
Yeah.
That they have a lot of heavy porters or stouts.
Eclipse?
Oh yeah, that's right. Eclipse.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, she knows.
Dana's on
she's
it. She's
well trained in the Jedi arts.
Yeah, she's the best. But yeah,
yes.
I remember getting those bottles, and I don't know, that used to be something that I would get really excited for and jump onto Malvern Beer Store or Exton Beverage or whatever. And when they would release them, you would try to get out there and get as many variants as you could, for these bottle shares and stuff. But I don't think I've had one in a while.
I mean, like, I haven't seen. I mean, like, you have to find like a place like that that'll have gems like that. I mean, like,
yeah, but I mean, I feel like back in Pennsylvania, I mean, we could go to Wegmans, like almost like a lot of the places would have that on the shelf at least right after release date. And down here, I don't know if you're not going to see that at.
No, you have to cross your fingers and hope maybe the Total Wine or the
Yeah.
or the what's it called, the ABC might have it.
Yeah. Craft Beer City,
You
maybe.
know, I mean, like, so Craft Beer City is kind of like a mom and pop craft beer store in Jupiter. But I mean, like, what on Black Friday, everybody wonders, hey, which BCBS did our local things in? And people will go out there and camp, but we're not getting anything good. All the good stuff is like well north of us or well
Yeah.
south of us, or just not even in Florida. And that's just the honest truth. But the good news is, yeah, we have some breweries that are quite awesome gems.
I'm going to be up
but-
north for Black Friday. I wonder if
Oh, good.
I'll be able to
Then you can.
scoop some stuff, maybe some Dark Wednesday in at Victory, which isn't anywhere as good as it used to be. I know I've said that 10 times,
the
but
hates.
I just used to love the straight up Java cask, and then they got crazy and started just
better.
changing it up and doing Java lattes and Java blondes and lower ABV stuff. And I don't know. I just want my my super dark thickie.
See, much better that time around.
No glass in this one. All right. Give us a recap. Which one did we just have and what did we go into? The last
We
one
just
was
had
coconut.
Luxuria, the Old Fitz coconuts.
Okay.
This one is Gullah,
Old Fitz coconut.
also a collab with Phase 3. This one is aged 19 months and a 7-year-old. What is this? Bernheim wheated whiskey barrel before 85 pounds of toasted hazelnuts.
Hazelnuts. The
Yep.
last one was coconut.
Oh, wait, you're still drinking.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
these. There we go.
So I'm going to foreshadow a little bit, but I want to tell people that Joff was one of my first beer buddies down here in Florida. And, we've gotten together plenty doing shares and things like that. But one of the funniest things that he does frequently is he will blend beers together. Super Dark Thickie is a great beer name. I agree, Sean.
Super dark.
Super Dark Thickie. I'm going to go get superdarkthickie.com and register that domain right now if it isn't
That's right.
already. But Joff, man, you're always cuvée stuff, man. You always mix stuff together. So it was just kind of funny how I would see you kind of make your little blendery
Yes.
with the bottle shares,
So
with whatever's around and
there's
make your own little.
There actually is an official cuvée of these three, which we'll try at the end.
Oh, very exciting.
Because each one is different barrel and a different adjunct, but it is on Untapped. If you search Three Sons, Three Deadly Sins, it's the cuvée of all three of these.
Yeah.
And obviously
Interesting.
You can play around with the proportions, but it's supposed to be 1 to 1 to 1. But
It's so funny, man. This hit's completely different. I feel like the bourbon's not the same.
I agree.
And the hazelnuts are there, but it just doesn't have that flavor, that sugary caramelized pop of the adjunct. It's just kind of a little bit more subtle. So
I
it kind of just I don't want to say it falls off because it is pretty balanced and has good flavor, but compared to that one, just going back to back,
Yes.
it just kind of drops off a little bit.
That's correct. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I mean, like, yeah, that's what the app is for me. I'll never remember these
Yeah.
things. That's the only reason. If I can always remember it, like I'm not IPA-tastic, so even though I've tried Pliny the Elder, Pliny the Younger, I'm not going to untap it because it's just, like, what am I going to do? Panic into this? Or like, I've checked it off in my mind. It's like, okay, I've had this. I don't have to rate it. At the same time, if I've had an incredible stout and I remember it, then I also don't have to untap it. But things like these, I kind of have to remember. So
It's crazy that what is it about IPAs that turns you off? Because I'm like an IPA addict, right?
that's fair.
And when I get together with my buddies back home and we do a bottle share, yes, there's sours and yes, there's stouts, but we're probably talking 75, 50 to 75% IPAs, different IPAs. That's just what everybody likes. It's the go-to. It's what sells. That's what all the breweries are releasing. So we get excited. And of course, that's the one that's like, it's getting brewed pretty quickly, right?
Yes, yeah.
It's got a quick turnaround. So like a lot of our local breweries can turn those things out and have a new exciting release every couple of weeks, right? And, you know, not to say that we don't love and appreciate lagers, stouts, barrel aged, you know what I mean? All the other stuff. But we're just very IPA heavy. And that's like my biggest frustration when we do bottle shares together is that like I just wish that we could crack
that I bring this stuff.
I love that you bring this stuff, but like I can't I've got 8 Treehouse beers in the fridge right now that I'm not even going to get into because you're not interested.
Guys, you need to come here and drink some of his beer.
These guys are the ones that sent me the beer.
Oh, touche.
But
okay.
yeah, luckily I've got great friends back home that can hook me up.
The hoppiness of it.
Yeah.
Just the bitterness of it. That's also to an extent why I don't like Russian Imperial stouts, because there's stouts like this that have been hopped up, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, like there are some good ones out there. Just that, you know, if it's hoppy, I don't like that flavor. What's interesting is I visited Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
At the Asheville, North Carolina location, and they have an enormous cooler just for the hops with, you know, giant bins with wheels for each hop, and they encourage you, hey, go to each one, get a handful, smack. Yep.
Do you do that?
And then well, I might be treating it like basil, but no, just rub it and then smell. And I couldn't get enough because the aroma is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I know that once it's in beer form, I'm trying to drink it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hate this.
Have you ever had a juicy hazy IPA?
Yeah, because remember that. What do you think, Aslan?
True.
Aslan turns out.
Look, I don't know, man. Aslan has a great reputation. People love their beer. I don't know what it is, but I've had a couple stouts from them that have got me extremely drunk. Like I had like a 14 or 15% stout from them that I picked up. But I don't know what it is, but like when they started distributing to our area, in the Philly area, and especially Delaware, when I used to go to Delaware all the time, they started popping up everywhere, and I was not happy with almost anything that I got, which was strange because like I was like, I know Aslan's a good brand and we're excited to have them, you know, come into our beer market, but I just never really had a great Aslan experience for some reason. Like maybe just, you know, my luck with the taps that I was at or the restaurant that I was visiting that had it on tap. Maybe I just had really poor luck time after time, but Aslan just
and you're talking almost exclusively IPAs and sours. Okay.
But I've had great stouts from them, but every time I got an IPA from them, I wasn't happy. So I don't know. I'm just trying to say maybe you didn't have a great experience either, because I didn't. With the IPAs,
touche, but like I said, I've had Pliny.
Oh yeah, you've had plenty of good stuff.
That's you know, everybody goes nuts over that, and I was like, okay, there you go.
So what's your favorite style then?
Oh, easily, yeah. High ABV, dark like my soul, dark like my soul. Stouts like this, but yeah, I enjoy fruited sours. You know, think about Drecker's, any chunks or brains. Illusion of Safety by Joy Theory, even to an extent Smoogies, Mortalis, how could I forget, you know?
Illusion of Safety.
So Illusion of Safety is a series of fruited sours by Adroit Theory.
Isn't that a Thrice album?
Sure.
When you said that, I actually went away from beer and went to
went to rock.
Yeah, went to rock. I think it's called Illusion of Safety. I don't know. Maybe that's just like a common phrase. So it's not like it has anything. It just makes me think, I wonder if they're Thrice fans. That's what I was getting
No,
at,
they're very well. I mean, is Thrice like heavy death metal? Okay.
Well,
so admittedly,
pretty heavy, not death, but yeah, very heavy.
Okay. So I mean, like they are, that is actually one of their themes. Like that's why all their can art is like that. And when they have their anniversary, there's always like metal bands playing. And I mean, like, they're great.
Nice.
Yeah, and Sosa Delicious Barbecue, right there in Purcellville. It's really the only two things in Purcellville, Virginia.
Purcellville, Virginia.
Like, yeah, it's nowhere near DC. I only came across this because so the local news station in DC is called WTOP, and they were online, and they had it's almost like a yearly poll like, hey, what's the best hamburger, what's the best pizza, what's the best barbecue, and me being a big fat foodie kind of have answers for all these. And for the most part, everything was like, oh, the top three all shared like the top 25%. Like, it was pretty split, but for whatever reason, for barbecue, 90% of WTOP listeners said Monk's Barbecue in Purcellville, Virginia, which I had never heard of. I'm like near the city, and I'm
Right.
like, where is this? So I immediately look it up. I was like, where in Purcellville? And I look it up, and it's an hour and a half way west of DC. It's like,
Oh,
how does
crap.
this even count as DC?
Yeah.
But again, because 90% said it, it's like, people must know something. So I make a point to go out there, try the barbecue. It's fantastic, very delicious, and, well, no joke, like half a mile around the bend is a Droid Theory. So the two of the most awesome things in the world are like so
right
close to
around
each
the
other,
Wow.
but then not close to anything else. Not an airport, not a highway. It's
All right, so you're a foodie for sure,
well, yeah,
and I know that you're a barbecue guy.
yes.
What has been your favorite barbecue? Like, I'm thinking about you telling the story about Percival.
Yes.
I know you visited a lot of places in Florida and probably other states as well, but I'm just curious off the top of your head, like, what's your favorite barbecue spot that you can think of?
So, I mean, I'll let folks know first up that I'm into specifically beef brisket, wings, especially if they're smoked, and then maybe flash fried, and then sides. So as for pork barbecue or ribs, not me,
Not your thing.
not my jam. I've had beef cheeks, pork belly, delicious. We've lucked out where just north of us in a town called Vero Beach is a fantastic Central Texas barbecue place called Pepper and Salts. Very delicious brisket and pork belly.
I know you've been.
like-
I haven't been yet, but how do you rate them
That's right, we should
compared to
go.
like everybody else that you've been to, or all these other great spots that you found?
So my favorite, I would say, is Terry Black's in Austin, Texas. I mean, like, you think of Austin and it's the Mecca.
Yeah.
And trust me, Franklin's was good. There's another place there also called Black's, because they're all family.
Okay.
So I think that originally they were related and they kind of split off. So I tried that triumvirate, and I was like, you know what? I like the brisket more, the Terry Blacks. And it was splitting hairs, but it was just kind of how the fat was rendered. And, I'm the type where I just brisket where if it stands on its own, that I don't even need sauce, that's a must. Okay.
Sure.
If it's something that needs something else, then it's just not, up to par. Even if, yeah, it's just when you have enough and you're like, okay, that's great. So pepper and salt is an example of that. Monk's is also really good. Trying to think kind of what else. Oh yeah, in Richmond, Virginia, we have something called ZZQ right around the corner from Vale. Another great brewery.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm going to bring some stuff. I don't think you've had Vale yet.
Well, no, I have Vale
Oh,
in the fridge right now. Remember, I
but
brought some out.
yeah, but that's
last show. Not stouts.
yeah, no, that's not stouts.
No.
So admittedly, Aslan and Vale, I think, are two of the best spots for like barrel aged programs for stouts.
Oh yeah,
like it's incredible. So
definitely Vale has some fantastic
okay,
barrel stouts. I definitely have had some. But yeah, that's awesome. What do you did you switch back to the coconut?
Yeah, I mean, like, we still have plenty to do our little cuvee at the end here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is time.
Let's crack the next one.
It is time for vanilla. So here we go.
So while we're doing that, I want to bring up a couple of little beer news stories that I thought were kind of interesting. Have you heard of the? I'm going to completely butcher this. Kokua Project.
How do you spell that? Like
Kokua.
No, it sounds Hawaiian.
Kokua Project. Well, I'm glad that you said that because that means maybe I pronounced it correctly.
Okay.
Inspired by Sierra Nevada's Resilience Project to support the victims of the Camp Fire,
The wildfire.
the wildfires in Hawaii, they've developed this new cocoa project, which, if you go on their website, they've got, I think it's Maui Brewing's website.
Okay, Maui Brewing, yeah.
They're kind of running it. They've got the recipe and everything behind it. So I'm kind of excited to start seeing these cocoa beers start showing up, so that all the proceeds go to Hawaii.
Oh, so would you say? Do you think it's going to be like Black is Beautiful, that they're going to have a
exactly
recipe?
like Resilience?
Okay.
Remember, Sierra Nevada did Resilience for the wildfires in California, and then off of that there was Black is Beautiful, and what's the one that Other Half did? Other Half did one too. I can't remember what it is, but I'm sure you guys would know in the chat here. But yeah, the Cocoa Project, benefiting those impacted by the Maui wildfire. So you can download the beer recipe. There's a donation pledge. So I'm kind of excited to see who hops on board. And it's always exciting when something like this is going on and you see that new beer pop up on the shelves or at the breweries or on tap somewhere where they all have the same recipe, but they're all from a different brewery. And I think a lot of times they do take liberties and say, I think it's not a big deal if I change up the hops a little bit based on what I have in inventory or something like that. But either way, I think it's going to be exciting. And I pulled it up because I wanted to see what type of beer it is. So I'm going to try to do the recipe because I'm curious. Black is Beautiful is so this is a Maui Strong Session IPA. So the target ABV is 4.2%. Pretty basic 2-row and pale malt grain bill, and doing some hops. Looks like it's got a lot of Mosaic with some dry hops in there. So looks like a Mosaic heavy session IPA. So I don't know. Sounds right up my alley.
You guys will love it.
That knows me. I ended up finding out. So when I first got into beer, and I'm trying all these craft beers, I remembered getting Founders what's it called? Mosaic it's not Mosaic Project. It's called Mosaic something.
It's something,
but it's actually, it was in bottles, not cans. And I remember getting that beer, and it must have been fresh, man. But it was like one of the best freaking IPAs that I'd ever had, and it's not a very high ABV either. But that's when I started to realize, like, I think I love Mosaic hops.
Okay,
that was kind of like one of the times where when I was experimenting with beer, I was technical enough to be like, this beer has Mosaic in the name, so I must like Mosaic hops.
I see.
You know what I mean? But that sounds right up my alley. So
for everybody out there, you can do a running gag by asking John, how's his Dogfish 120? Because he has a bottle and he's saving it with a DFH Worldwide Stout.
Yeah.
Because he wants to do the very special black and tan.
I never even heard of that until you, because that's what I mean. You're the Cuvée King, is what I'm going to call you.
But that's been around since even before,
but not to anybody. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've got plenty of beer friends over the years, and not once did anybody say, you're holding a 120 and a worldwide stout, you've got to do a black and tan. Like, not once did anybody come up with that.
That's weird. But so the running joke is to ask if he still has it, because I'm just prolonging it until this thing turns into a barley wine.
Oh, the 120's got to be, I forget what it is. It's got to be like a 2016 or a 2018.
But yeah, you have it in the fridge too, so it's taking.
It is in the fridge now.
It's taking long.
I thought we were going to crack it the other day.
Yeah, so I keep milking it. He doesn't know.
Been like 2 months.
Keep milking it until like 4 years from now. Hopefully, you'll ask him, and he'll still have it. And by then, it'll be barley wine instead of an IPA, and it'll be delicious. But yeah, try this. This is NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is also collab with Phase 3, Three Sons Brewing, Phase 3, stout aged 19 months.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, sure.
Now go ahead. I'm not going to be able to do that.
Don't worry. 9-year-old Elijah Craig bourbon barrels.
I was going to say Elijah Craig. No,
and then vanilla.
Vanilla. Okay. I was like, maybe I'm smart enough to pull the adjunct off of this, but I'm definitely not.
Well, you can pull vanilla. All right, let's see how this is. Now, Three Sons is notorious for being fantastic with coconut. And I remember when I first had these, surprisingly, I enjoyed the vanilla more than the
Yeah.
coconut, and I think I sat there, talked with like an assistant brewer or something about that. I was like, I'm actually surprised here. I'm like, not that the coconut is bad. I thoroughly enjoy the coconut one, but the vanilla one was blowing my mind. So I'm curious what it is like many months.
Yeah.
These are almost a year old,
Okay.
if not a year old.
Yeah, I feel like, to me, it goes coconut, vanilla, and whatever the other one was. Nutmeg,
the hazelnut.
Hazelnut.
Guys, I wish there was a smell on this thing that you could that. Oh man,
A smell-o-vision or something.
yes, that's right. Straight from Futurama, if everybody remembers that. Oh man. Yeah, so like I would say the coconut aged extremely well. This vanilla is still good, and the Elijah Craig is very, very good in this. So I think it's kind of flipped where now the coconut is better than the vanilla.
It's
And-
crazy that if it's
yeah.
the same base stout, right? Is it?
Yes.
That I feel like that has been extremely consistent, but it is kind of crazy how like you can pick up the different variants and the different barrels. Like the barrel hits you first, you've got this consistent body behind it, and then you've got this extra, X factor intangible that that plays its part. But like this might be like one of the first times where I've been like, you know what? This base beer is noticeable and consistent between all three of them.
Interesting for the vanilla one.
Well, for all three, I'm just saying.
Oh,
that,
I see.
I can kind of tell that they're all kind of have that same base. They all have such a middle section that's very similar, similar body, but some have a little bit of more heat or a little bit more bourbon flavor. Some of them have that lingering adjunct at the end.
See, like, I know it's tough to see kind of in here, but there were more legs with the coconut one. Like like you said, was kind of sticky.
Yeah.
It definitely, like, I noticed it, the viscosity of kind of motor oil, which I love. Okay?
Oh yeah, that's me.
I would say
That's my thing.
the last two were kind of more, not as. I mean, like, again, they're still good, but it wasn't as viscous. So I don't know if, like you were talking about the consistency of the base, and I don't know if I would agree, considering how much different, just even, like viscosity or mouthfeel wise. I hate using that term.
Yeah, no, I don't mind mouthfeel. I feel like I say mouthfeel and balance more than anything else when I'm describing beer, because I'm just not very good at it. But yeah, I don't know. I really think that I have a very I feel like I can tell if a beer is good and if it's like if there's something off with it. I can't tell you what's off.
True. Yeah.
I can't tell you what's off about it. I can't tell you what the flavor is that I'm getting. I wish that I was good at that, because like I remember and what's funny, you ever do this where like you're sampling a beer and you're trying to think like, man, this is so unique. What is that? This is really good. And then somebody reads you the beer description and then it all just hits you at the same time. Like
almost every time.
Yeah. I just am never good enough to be like, oh wow, like I'm getting green tea. And be like, no, I never would have thought that. And then you read the description, it's like, oh, there's actually green tea in this thing. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the Jedis can do that.
I would love to get trained. I don't know how much it costs, or what it would entail. But I would really like to like do some of those, because I think you can get kits, right? Don't they have kits where you have like you set yourself up with like 5 Bud Lights and you have a dropper and you drop in the different off flavors into each one, so that way you can taste the very,
Okay.
whatever, not Bud Light necessarily, but
No,
some
no,
kind of,
some
a
some
basic
okay.
standard beer that
Okay.
every single one of them is the same
Okay.
from the same batch or whatever. And then you do these little dropper flavors, and then you can kind of be like, oh, that's diacetyl or whatever. You know what I mean? And start to train yourself on that. I think I've heard somebody say that's how they do like a training for getting like a Cicerone or something. Yeah. Cicerone.
You have to say it like that.
Have you seen that? Brews Brothers?
No.
All right. We're going to
Let me
start binging that.
All right,
Maybe tonight.
we'll check it out. I've only seen, again, coming from the world of wine, Somm, for short for sommelier. That if you guys haven't seen either of those 3 documentaries, yeah, check them out. Even if you're not into wine, it's actually a fantastic story.
For anybody in Pennsylvania that gets this, I was going to say that a while back we had a guest on that is doing a film called Bottled Conditioned, and that was all about lambics. So they had Cantillon, Dre Fontaine, Lindemans. I think they had like a bunch of like actual those guys on, and they talked about the history and what goes into it. And I mean, if anybody knows anything about a lambic, it's a very long process, I think, with it's an extremely long brewing process and barrel aging process and blending process of 3 years and 1 years and stuff like that before you actually get to a bottle. So it's a very special beer. It's probably my favorite style of beer, but the film looks like, the trailer for it looks fantastic, and the film is done and he's doing showings of it. So like I saw him post that they're doing like showings and things like that, and he's coming back to Pennsylvania, I think to the Southeast market pretty soon. So I would check that out. Maybe I'll do a post online soon. Bottle conditioned, I think it's bottle conditioned film or bottle conditioned movie.com, but definitely something to check out because I'm really excited. I was like, hey, I want to see this. When can I see it? And he was like, you got to come to a showing because I haven't, it's not going to come out on the streaming service yet. They're still doing like release parties and showings at, film festivals and things like that. But I'm super, super excited for it.
Bottle conditioned.
Yeah. Have you, how do you feel about lambics?
Oh, I dig that too. I mean, like technically those Grand Crus, I believe, count as a lambic.
Okay. Yeah. Crazy stuff.
What was interesting is I lived in Charleston for a while, and had a buddy that he could score Fontaflora, delicious lambics, but you won't believe it that once in a blue moon, Fontaflora would churn out like a barley wine or a stout, and it was incredible. And you're like, you're Fontaflora, you're like a cool ship, Yeah,
I don't know if I know them.
And they make delicious sours, and then there's this random stout that just blows your mind, and it's just the chemistry and the range that these guys have to make these gems. I mean, like, I'm always appreciative.
Fontaflora, North Carolina?
I believe, yes.
Okay, gotcha. I see like a Whirlpool Farm and Fontaflora Brewing. Yeah. Interesting. I've never heard of them. Do you have much experience with the Charlotte market?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, like, I've heard some good stuff out of there. The name escapes me right now, but yeah, there's good stuff coming out of there.
Have you ever heard of, I don't know. It seemed like there was some people talking about it online today. Catawba?
Catawba was like, I thought that was South Carolina, and it was they either bought out Palmetto and some other things, or they were bought out. But I've heard of Catawba Brewing. Yeah,
I think they were bought out, but they just closed. Like something happened where they came in on like a Monday or something like that, and they told all their employees go home, and they just closed the doors, and they're just done.
It's messed up.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there, but I was reading something that I don't know, something goofy, some fuckery is about. Something crazy, some shenanigans are going on.
Let's
cuvee.
Let's have go ahead and pour yours
All right.
like a 1-to-1 kind of these three, and then see what you think here.
All right, green. Listen to that bass from sliding these around. Man, this has got that red the red label,
Yes.
but it pours red. I don't know if it's just me. Now this one, I don't know. This one looks red too. I don't know. Maybe it's just the lighting, the mood lighting in here, maybe, but all right. I don't know, man. I don't know if my like palate is wrecked or not, but the nose on this thing is just going all kinds of different directions. I'm not getting just like a steady something.
Let's find out here.
This is just a
Yep.
Cheers. Joff special.
So Untapped, this is Three Deadly Sins by Three Sons. It's the cuvee of all three.
Oh, so if you cuvee them, it's its own Untapped.
Yes, exactly.
Three Deadly
official,
Sins.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Official.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's I'll be honest that I mean like the vanilla cut to me shines more than the other two adjuncts. I tried to keep it as 1-to-1 as possible.
I went a little heavy on the coconut because that was my favorite, but
that's fair. And yeah, that's the beauty of cuvee that you do with.
But no, that's I don't know. That mixture is pretty good. I mean, it's got all kinds of good stuff going on. Lots of good flavors. I'm digging it. Because I feel like the heat isn't as strong. And
Yes, I agree.
maybe the different adjuncts are balancing each other out.
Well, I'm trying to pick up any kind of nuttiness from hazelnut or even the coconut, but it's a little tough. I don't know if I
Yeah.
accidentally poured a little too much vanilla, but I really only taste vanilla. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm definitely getting the vanilla, but I might be getting some of that coconut too. I'm definitely getting like that barrel heat off the front that reminds me of the first beer, but it's definitely got a lot of good stuff going on.
Okay.
You know what I'm excited for? Oktoberfest. I'm ready for some Marzens.
Okay, I like Marzens. Usually I think of Oktoberfest as kind of lagers and that, but no, I like Box. I like Marzens. Yeah.
I like Marzens, so I'm excited. You know what's funny is I was already here in Florida this time last year, and Oktoberfest hit, and I was just dying for good beer, and I went and tried, and I went and tried everybody's Marzen or their Oktoberfest beer or whatever you want to call it. Sailfish had my favorite. Sailfish won me on the Oktoberfest.
Okay.
And you know,
Sailfish is Fort Pierce, Florida, just kind of north of us, and that they'll have beer and that stouts that will say, you know, this incredible barrel aging and this adjunct. And God bless it. If it just doesn't, I don't know if they keep just tricking me, but whatever. So, but I forgot what it was. Like I went to, I think a Rocky Waters or a Brewfest, and I think they had this incredible pumpkin beer, and I'm not into pumpkin beers. I can count pretty much that Rumpkin, the rum barrel aged pumpkin beer from Avery, is probably the only pumpkin beer I enjoy, until I think Sailfish made one that I was like, I will drink this entire keg. It's like this is mine now. Nobody else is allowed to have this at this festival that people are filling up. And I'm like, no, that's only mine.
I'm almost always out when it comes to pumpkin beers.
Like same.
Yeah. I'm just not interested. You know, it's, you know, when I started getting into podcasting and talking to brewers, I never realized it, but the more people that I talk to, I started hearing people say, you want to judge a brewery, go have their lager. If their lager's good,
That's right.
they know
Yes.
what they're doing.
Yes.
And that anybody can, not anybody, but IPAs are a little bit easier because you can hide a lot of stuff behind dry hopping and over hopping, and it kind of masks the overall beer and things like that. So
Yeah, same for stouts.
yeah, I could see that with stouts too. But with IPA, so maybe because I'm an IPA guy and I'll go someplace and I'm like, give me your pale ale, give me your IPA, give me the hazy, whatever, first before like anything else. Maybe that's why a lot of breweries like don't turn me off right away. Not always, but I don't know. I like Sailfish. We just went to they had a thing. We were out in Stewart, I think, or Jensen or wherever it is. We went to Ocean Republic. It was like right around the corner from where we were, and kids eat free. So I was like, all right, let's go do that. It really wasn't bad at all. Like I just didn't mind it at all. Like the beer was like, all right, I'm expecting, like, all right, this is going to taste like nobody cares. And I was like, all right, it's not bad. It's okay.
That's your opinion.
Yeah,
like
it is my opinion.
Like
it's just funny, man, because everybody can have like different feelings and opinions, but I don't know. I had like an aha moment going to Civil Society because it was the first time that I was like, these are the IPAs that I'm missing. This is like the level of beer that like I've had consistently back home, and this just reminds me of it. Like this is what I'm looking for, and I don't know if it's the water, if it's just something like that, but man, they just do it different there, and I love it.
And once in a while, they'll also churn out a delicious stout, and it just rocks your world. And I asked the guy, and I'm like, hey, man, you guys put this stout out like once a quarter. It's fantastic. It's not just because it's it's just rare. No, it actually is good. Now, when it comes close to their anniversary, suddenly the floodgates open and the cellar opens and all this stuff. And it's as happy as can be, which, for the folks out there, Civil Society has probably one of the best anniversary festivals there is. Even though it is outdoors, it is technically late fall / winter in South Florida, where being out there, it feels great. And Abacoa / Jupiter, Florida.
Oh, I love that town.
You've got these high quote unquote buildings that cast these shadows, and then the wind just kind of passes right through. It feels great, especially when you're drinking a bunch of stuff like this.
Yeah.
And it's not super expensive, like even like Wakefest. So, I mean, like it's if anyone in the South Florida area, I'd say that's a must.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that place.
Society.
Quick shout out to Fish. He is the OG ride or die for Might Be Brews.
Ahsoka.
I forgot Ahsoka is that
premiere tonight, a 2-episode premiere.
But when did it come out? Like, did it come out like this morning? Did it come out at like 8-10 p.m.? Like,
either way, who cares?
When is it actually out?
Disney Plus.
I'm excited for Ahsoka, man, because I mean, The Mandalorian's been amazing. Seeing Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka was fantastic. I don't know why she like naturally looks like her. 9 p.m. Good info, Fish.
So like before Disney Plus or Disney Zoom or whatever it was, like I used to be able to kind of watch it on the Clone Wars, those cartoons. And even though it was cartoons, because it was Star Wars, I loved it and was thoroughly into it. Of course, it got switched to Disney Plus or whatever, and suddenly I couldn't watch anymore and whatever. I was like, okay. But then it ended up going for so many more seasons.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh man, I missed all of that.
So I had never really heard of Clone Wars as far as the series.
Okay.
And when I started really getting into like the Mandalorian and kind of going deep into that stuff, there somebody online had put out a list that was like, here's the essential episodes of the Clone Wars series that you have to watch.
Okay, that's
So
fair.
I went and
That's fair.
watched them.
Oh, you lucky dog! All right,
And I was like, because like you build up so much more backstory to Anakin
okay,
and to Obi-Wan and all of this stuff. And you know, when you see all of this backstory and the I want to say was it that, or was it the other show that had Darth Maul? But I think there was Darth Maul was in there. He's got even more of a backstory back with the Clone Wars, and the Darksaber is back there in the Clone Wars. You know, and Mandalore, and all of this stuff builds up to obviously the movies, but these other series. And it's just so crazy how big of a backstory there is. And you watch all of these episodes, and then you go back and watch, you know, the original 3 Star Wars movies, and you're just like, holy crap, like all of this leading up to Anakin becoming Darth Vader means so much more.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's crazy how well they went back and did these prequels and these origin stories, and how true to like the story they are, and how well they did to just kind of, you know, do that crazy buildup.
Like, yeah, like I'm one of those purists where I'm like, hey, it has to be in the movies for it to be canon, and then and then then they had the last trilogy, which like the last 2 for me were dumpster fires, and I like detested it. And but it's the same company that also churned out Rogue One.
Yeah,
Rogue One is like one of the best films, period. Not even like one of the best Star Wars things. It is incredible how much that's like I love the Princess Bride, and then here's the Rogue One, which is like the Star Wars version of that. And anytime it just happens on TV, it's like, all right, this is the rest of my day. I'm watching Rogue One. I'm sorry, that the same company made.
I hear you.
Both these things. I also kind of like Solo, you know, especially like the cliffhanger at the very end.
We've had this discussion on the show before with a few guests actually, and I was kind of surprised how many people, you know, you ask, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Like everybody says Empire or something like that, right? More and more people go Rogue One. Like Rogue One is just a fantastic film that can stand on its own. But if you're a Star Wars nerd and you get to the end of it and you see that red lightsaber, you know, come out of its sheath or whatever you want to call it, you know, in the abyss, and there's, you know, the glow of Darth Vader's mask at the end of it, that's just kind of leading right into A New Hope. It's so insane. It's so insane. They just absolutely nailed it.
That's right.
Fish, don't worry about crashing the beer show. We always evolve into Avengers or Star Wars or whatever it comes into. But man, so good to see you. Thank you for checking in. Man, I love you guys so much, man. Sean, Sarah, Mike, Craig, Dana, everybody, man. You guys came and said hi. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it.
Come have the rest of come have the rest of these stouts.
I'm not kidding. Every single one of you are invited to Florida anytime that you want to. I've got a spare bedroom. Bring Mr. Steve or anybody else, and we'll have a party. But anyway, you ready to wrap this thing up?
Roger that.
Let's do it. Guys, if you took the time to hang out with us, watching us, listening to us, we appreciate you so much. Thanks for hanging out, man. It's a new era. It's we're trying out new things down here with these Florida beers. But anyway, thank you guys for taking the time. We really appreciate you, and we will see you next time.
Is it like the John Jones, Dan Cormier thing, where it's like, Hey, Pussy, you still there?
Yeah. Yeah, we're still live. Fish, thank you. Appreciate it, man. Everybody that's still on there. We got a couple listeners hanging, but you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Shoot us a message. Let us know if there's anything you'd like us to do. Any beers you want us to try. If anybody wants to ship us anything down here to Florida, I'll be happy to ship you stuff back. I can get you some stuff, some local stuff from here. So maybe we can do a little trade, a little swap-a-rooney.
And I can get better stuff to give
and
to him. He will ship to you.
Joff actually does the hauling, the muling around here. He hits up Tampa and Miami and Fort Lauderdale and all that good stuff to bring back the good stuff. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
And try to maybe tune in next week when we'll try to link up with Jay Wakefield, who is doing a tap takeover at a craft brew pub here locally. Like it blows my mind. It's like, oh, you guys will be here. Please come. Yeah, I mean, like we still got to talk to them, but
we're gonna try to pull off an episode next week and see if we can't do some like a Jay Wakefield exclusive while they're here in our backyard. So anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate you. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.